Hi everyone, you're watching FX, and I want to say Happy New Year to all of you. This is the first video in 2020, and I wish you all a happiness and a lot of profits in new 2020. So I'm going to make technical analysis for the coming week, and I will share with you my possible entry points, important levels at main pairs. So just wanted to warn you that we still have a bit of holidays and still low liquidity. So be careful. The market might have reactions and big jumps, huge moves, gaps, anything can happen. So just use the money management and consider all the risks you can have before you will go and try to trade on a real account. Okay, so this time you maybe want to try a little bit of different strategies and practice a little bit more. But anyway, if you decide to go for it, so you need to consider all of these conditions of the market at this moment. Usually it picks up closer to the February, usually it's February, but this year we have some Brexit will be at the end of January, so that's why I'm going to continue trading. I still have trades. I had a pretty good week and will continue trading. So, and sharing with you, of course, my thoughts on the markets. Don't forget this week we had unexpected, the last week, unexpected news from Middle East, and it had quite a good influence on the market. So for this new week, follow the headlines, okay, of what's happening between US and Middle East, right? So, and also we have still trade news between also US and China. So, and this coming week we're going to have more financial economical news for American dollar. Okay, so that's could be a very busy week. So that's what I'm saying, be really careful. So we're starting with euro dollar as usual, and this is a 4-hour time frame, and this is where I was last week. Remember, I was telling you that I was expecting a possible breakout finally of euro dollar that level, as it's been stopped a few times, but because it's already tested it higher before, I was expecting it to continue go up. So that's exactly what happened. It went up, but it was stopped by the another level, which is a trend level, okay, of the downtrend channel. So that's why I have bigger time frame, because you need to consider all the time frames when you're looking for the trades, even on the smaller time frames, but still need to see where it's actually stopping, why it's happening. So it's been stopped, and dollar was getting a bit weaker, but with all this news from the Middle East, you see dollar started to get a little bit stronger again, and so euro dollar dropped at some point. So what do I have here? So you see, technically right now I'm going to make all the suggestions and share with you my ideas, but bear in mind, because of low liquidity and all of this news, it can be all completely changed. But for example, technically looking here, we are in a downtrend channel. We finished the correction inside it, so now it's at time to go down. And also we have Brexit, which is not very good for Eurozone, right? So that's why, of course, I would have expected to now market turn around and continue the way down. But like, you never know, we still have a bit of this corrective channel, an uptrend channel, and it's quite easily, who knows how good the news, economical news for American dollar will be. It still might have a little bit more of movement up, right? And for example, reach this level, which is crossing the a bit of the corrective channel. So it still can do so. So it just all depends what the news are going to bring at this point, you see. But on let's say other side, we inside the downtrend channel, and it's back underneath that level too. So it's pretty much also more showing the euro dollar should continue the way down. Okay, so like I'm saying, the only news, there will be movements because of the news. So what I'm going to do, obviously the question is, we know the situation on the market, so I gave you a bit a lot of details of what's happening, what to pay attention on. At this moment, like I'm saying, I had a bit of a sell, and it was a small, you see, it's jumped up back because I'm using my EAs, you know, and with my EA I'm closing half positions around 10, 12, 15 pips, and another half moves stop loss to break even, or with a little profit, and the rest of it moves by trailing stops. So you see, that's why I had a small trade, for example, here, and then turned around, it hit me half position, walked out with profit, and the half positions was closed at break even. So nothing to lose, had I made profit, small profit, okay, not huge, but small. Because in the conditions of the market like this, it's very risky to go for bigger profits at this moment, okay? So that's why now, for example, I don't have a good position as we are underneath here, so I'll just wait to see next. And also this opening of the market can be with gaps, okay, because of that a bit of the military involvement now, news. It could be a gap, depends if there is anything going to be on Sunday. So that's why right now I can't say anything what I'm going to do with it, okay? I will be just looking. Of course, I still have this area is better if the market will go back and like consolidate around this area. Then it would be really nice, just like I had it previously, and then placing the orders again both directions. Well, if that's not going to happen here, then I would see if it's going to maybe consolidate around maybe this level, or maybe it will jump and will be just sitting on top of it to consolidate here. So then I will be looking into placing the orders. But at this moment, I can't do anything because it's pretty much might go into consolidation between these two levels, but it is very wide, and you see it would be very risky to place, for example, going back up. It might be just like here we had spikes. And but at the same time, I mean, I would still be looking more towards going down, but it depends what the news are going to be. That's why I would probably just see when we're going to have like important news. We have non-farm, for example. There will be some other news in the week, and see where it's going to consolidate, and then use my news event trading strategy. Okay, so the news event is exactly the same as the usual one, just going for small consolidation before the news going to happen, and then placing orders both directions. So I mean, that's my view on euro dollar. Dollar yen. So, well, okay, I have been here, right, previous week, and I had my sell order also here still floating, which closed this week, and I had another sell. So that's what I'm saying. You see, that's why the strategy I use is so good, and you don't need to worry really about exactly where the market will go. For example, here, that's what I was saying. The market was stuck, and it was a little bit of confused. Either continue the way up, and like I was saying to you, still have that gap in here, and or continue turn around because it's been going up for a while and actually drop. So you see the news helped, and dollar yen dropped, obviously because yen is getting stronger when there are news like wars or anything else happening. The yen gets stronger, so that's why dollar dropped against yen. So if it went up against like main pairs like euro or pound, but against yen it dropped. So which, like I was saying, I was expecting it, but to stay still inside the channel. Now it's broke the channel and went down to one of the levels. And once again, now depends. The market can open with the gap, and or might just wherever move straight away. I have to wait and see where it's going to go next, because you see now it's just between these two levels, and it's very wide range, and that's why it's a little bit risky to do anything this moment, like for example place the order sell from that level or place the order buy from that level. So then I would see where this is going to go. Maybe it will consolidate a little bit closer to here, or maybe it will jump up and consolidate on top. Then I would be looking at all those possible consolidation around the levels, and then looking at placing the pending orders buy or sell. You see, but at this moment it just stuck between these levels. So once again, what possibly, you see, that's what I was saying, the pair was going up nicely, then have corrections, up again correction, up again correction. So that's why I was saying it was expected that it might not go straight away up, it might have a bit of a correction and then continue the way up. So it still might go back up, depends on what's the news going to bring, and continue. I still looking towards closing that gap. But if there will be more action in the Middle East, then of course it quite possibly can continue the way down, and we have next level. For example, this one is quite a strong level. We had twice it's been stopped, well, 3 times it's been stopped. Then it could be this, and then who knows. But like I said, for small consolidations, I will be looking at any possible loose levels, and if it will break that one, to go to the next one. So we will see. So, but I mean, okay, it might be a bit of a, now is it had a drop, and if we see how it went all here, if it will not break that level, then it will possibly turn around and start to maybe go back into our channel, or at least above the level again. and then all the way up. But if it's only going to be good news for American dollar, okay, and we also have that trade deal in the air, okay? So when the trade deal goes also between the US and China, yen should be weakening. So you see, that's why it's a little bit could be battle between the pairs, good in one respect, bad in the other respect. So that's why it can be a little bit of who knows, but that was a good area to enter, and I pointed out a few times at that, where I had orders both directions. I had order buy all the way, and I had order sell, which worked out, and then I had another one from the level, and then continued. So, and now just a bit of waiting. So Australian dollar is also finally it's actually broke and went up to the next level. You see where it was stopped and turned around now. And that's what I was saying, the expectation with Australian dollar, because you know the fires in Australia. So that's why I was like, where is it getting strength? It was getting strength because the American dollar was weakened. But you would say logically, Australian dollar should get a little bit weaker because of all these effects on the economy with the forest fires. Unfortunately, it's really sad to know it. I mean, I've seen the forest after fires. It's really sad and upsetting. So I hope that everything is going to finish soon and Australia will go back to normal again. So here we go. We have right now, I mean, I have no any possible entry points. I mean, technically speaking, it does look like if you do swing, remember I was telling you about the swing trading, that's what I was telling you. We have that level, and then we had this one, so this could have been a sell. I had a pending order, but it didn't touch. You see, just a little bit. It didn't trigger one of my sell orders here. I had a bit low sell using that level, and so got a bit of a trade. But it had a bit of a sharp drop down, so maybe now it's have a little bit of correction, which you see it started to do a bit of a correction. That's why at this moment, to see, I would probably wait for it to go a little bit higher, maybe to this level, because you can see it's treating it as a trend level. Had two tops there before, okay, so maybe some consolidations like those two tops had, and then looking for placing new orders. But like I'm saying, because at this moment market is not as in usual mode, then it could be sharp jumps, but still let's say good area. If I will look on the daily chart, the good area, I still see this. If the market might have and jump inside that area, then that would be somewhere closer to here is a good one to go up or go back down. But I mean, here, like I'm saying, I will see if it will go and have a smaller one around this area, because technically looking, yes, and it possibly you see had a really good run, and it needs for a good correction, okay. So that's quite possibly, if it will give a little bit of something here, maybe a little flag, you know, the bearish flag, then it could be possible to draw here another level, let's say, yes. So if it will sit in here, then to place pending order sell and expecting a continuation the way down. So, but with Australian dollar also, the good news, trade news between America and China, Australian dollar gets stronger, okay? And the other way around, you see the Middle East news, it makes more for dollar. So that's why it can be very confusing and very mixed. So be careful, because it could be huge jumps up, jumps down, or, you know, that's what I call mess. It could be very messy. So now we're going to dollar Canadian. So, well, we see dollar Canadian finally broke. You see, it's jumped down a bit and then jumped up. But this week it's finally broke and went down and had a stop at another level and just decided to sit there. See, it's sit because we do have a bit of the downtrend, the bigger downtrend, which I was telling you about previously, but it didn't reach the level. So what can be here now? Obviously, it's been moving quite a long down, and you would expect now an uptrend, where I was expecting hopefully here, and it was more looking towards that, right, to go up here and continue, and then go as a in a downtrend, continue the way down. But they decided to do it its own way, and different news help. Well, you say why dollar is getting stronger, weaker in against Canadian, because you see in here Canadian got stronger because oil got more stronger again with all this war news. Like you noticed, you see euro dollar going down, dollar yen going down, like dollar Canadian they kind of Australian, it's all the pairs are going in the same direction. You know there is something is not right in the market, because like euro dollar and dollar yen should go opposite each other, okay? Because it's a dollar pairs, and it's the other pairs like European pairs, right? So, and here they pretty much go in the same direction. You know that is something is, it's not a usual situation in the market. So that's why all of this news made also, you see, oil prices jumped up, so Canadian got stronger, and so US dollar against Canadian got weaker. See, the other way around, euro dollar, dollar got stronger, euro got weaker. So that's how the market reacts on this news, and that's why it's happening. Just trying to explain to you. It's a usual thing when it's uncertainty, right? It's uncertainty. What's going to happen next? Is it a war? Will it continue? Is it just a short time, or what else to expect? So you don't know. So pretty much with the news like this, you see when it's more successful from, let's say, America, they attacking and they have more success. So then you see dollar gets stronger, yen gets stronger, gold gets stronger, oil, and then when it's around other way around, when America gets hit, then dollar gets weaker. You see, and so that's what you need to consider if you can go for like short trades, quick. Like I like to go for scalping. So if you listen in the news and you jump in and jump out quickly. So because usually they have short time effect, let's say it that way. So you see here we had Canadian, then they started to consolidate, and well, for this week, if it will not have any gaps or jumps, that's my area. That's it. You see, I will place in buy orders pending and sell pending orders. Well, again, if I will listen to the news and see what is it more towards, of course, because the pair was going up or down for a while, I would expect more the dollar Canadian to turn around, but there will be also news for Canadian dollar, and I think they're actually good news. At least a prediction. That's why pair can easily continue the way down to the next level. So we will see if, for example, I will decide just to place buy order and it will continue the way down, and I will see if it's going to be stopped and consolidate here, and then I will be placing orders also, possibly just to buy pending orders and see a possible turning around. But once again, we'll be listening to the news and see if the oil prices are changing and what the dollar and what's the news for dollar, economical news, and economic news for Canadian. So you need to bear it in mind. I mean, it can be just have jumps ups and jumps ups again and be very, very messy with all of this confusing news. But that's the area, the first area to look at. Okay, so now we're going to go, so you can see also one of my predictions and analysis last week. I pointed out that gold from here could continue all the way up without any corrections. That's exactly what it did, is one of the possibilities, right? I told you that, yeah, it might turn around. This is the week we had this week. You see there is no correction. And here I was telling you it possibly could be correction, but easily can go non-stop, like, well, historically we know gold does. That's why it's a very risky pair, metal to trade. So, and expectation, okay, what's now? Now we know all why it's happening. I already told you, and I had actually sell a limit order here. I told you I will place, but I didn't touch it, and I canceled it because, yeah, I expect a possible double top. So my first expectation would be a possible turning around and have a correction, but because of what's happening right now with the news, I more consider it possibly this was a bullish flag, okay? And if there is a bullish flag and all this news are going to come again, it might push gold right up to the next highs where we have previously a long time ago big highs here. So now you ask why? Well, I don't think I did videos, but if you've been trading and if it's not new, you know the bullish flags, the flags anyway, bullish bearish flags, they have a post, right? So you have previously you had a big trend, strong trend, and then you had a flag, and then you expect to go pretty much about the same distance as it was before it's formed the flag. Not always, like I'm saying, it's not always the same distance. I usually go for the halfway, okay? So let's say you see with that movement we had right a big trend, uptrend from here, right, the low, and it had a little bit, you see, it moved up and created a little flag previously, and then it's continued way up, and this could be another flag. So let's say from this point to this point I have about 2000 pips. So now imagine from this lowest to our 2000 pips. So here we go. It could be pretty much nearly the top. So top is about 3000. Well, I would consider a possible 3000 if we will take right from the bottom, right? So it's about 3000 pips. So that could be a 3000 pip move. Okay, if there will be more strikes in Middle East and more news from there, easily I can see that gold easily can go there, and the stronger news, the less it's going to be any corrections or big corrections, or maybe small ones. So if it could be just short term, right? So we haven't broke that area, that level. So then I would consider a double top. Okay, so a double top, and at least looking at technically looking, right, then I would expect, let's say, a normal way that it will not break it, right? It started to consolidate a little bit. I already have the area, will be placing the order, so possibly it will turn around and have a correction, right? So it will have a correction. So then I would possibly to see where it's going to stop, and if it will not continue the way down, because the double top will expect to call all the way back down to about the neck area, right? The double top of the neck area here, maybe here, and then continue the way down. So that could happen with the trade news between US and China, right? The trade deal, positive trade deal, gold will drop. But who knows what's going, how strong this is going to be, the Middle East, if it's going to be a very long again, a lot of things going on, then we will have. But if not, let's say, so what I will be looking for, of course, for some consolidation. It's already started to consolidate, and but you need to be really careful. Like I'm saying, if here I could trade without the stops here, if you have a smaller account, then of course you need to place the stops, because you see how can run away. You see how many wings are here. That's what I'm saying. You either stay away and just wait for it to a little bit come down, or if you want to try to take risk, because it could be very rewarding with the huge moves. You can see, you can take some losses first and then come out with a good profit. You see, because there's uncertainty, had a jump down, had a wing, and then jumped up again as a wing. So that's the area, but it's very let's say shaky area. So from here I would expect market to continue possibly the way up, but it could be a gap again with the open of the market, and I have to look all around. I can't say anything at this moment, because the gap could be either way, up or down, and how big it's going to be, or could be, it's also is very hard to say. So that's why here I will look first if it will have a calm opening. Then I would look at this area to see maybe a little bit up, and then I would move the area to this level. Of course, the stronger would be around this area. I would have to be honest, I would rather to see it consolidate around here, but it decided for somehow, I don't know why, it decided to stay a little bit lower. So that's why a little bit you see, it's like with the wings, because here they just hardly touch in this area, so they're pretty much in the area of, you see, plus minus a little bit, but I still like to keep it with the wings, because also what can happen is it can jump up, like to be like a called false breakout of the level, just to pick up this, to cover those tops, and then it can turn around. Okay, and then it can turn around. This all pretty much would be based on the news, so need to follow the news, because at this moment it just a little bit stopped in the tricky area without showing kind of what is it wants to do. So that's why you need to be really careful here. That's why I don't know if I'll go because of the wings. Maybe I'll just wait for it to get a little bit closer to that level, or to see where it's going to consolidate before some news comes out. Okay, so news for American dollar also this week, follow them, the economical news. Okay, so if you're looking into this risky but still want to go into trade, so that's how I'm going to look into it. So, well, that's gold. Euro pound, once again, I have a little bit of different levels, and possible looking at trades, but still don't want to go into any. And the only area I'm looking at to go into trades would be here. So if the pair will get into here, then I will be looking for placing a trade. So it would be more safer for me to go either for buy or for sell. Pretty much, once again, with the news for pound, I see it's more going up, because euro pound been going down for a very long time, and now I would expect it more to have a good correction, right? But at the same time, you see we're in a downtrend channel, and it's actually right at the border of the downtrend channel. And looking at this, you would expect it to continue the way down, right? So, but the news, it's all you see, because we have a bit of the bottoms, one low, this higher, that could be breaking point. So you see, if it will go into this little area and break in, so that would be my next area to look. So let's say, even if it will not stay here but go into here, like this little area, then I would be looking more towards a placing orders and this area, you see, and still more looking towards placing going up. But it's all will be about the Brexit, right? The Brexit, and maybe the pair I will use closer to the end of January, right? Closer to the end of January, where I still expect pound to drop, okay? And so if pound have a good drop, then euro pound will have a jump up. So that's my view, but at this moment, yeah, I would, for a smaller time frame, let's say, to go, you see, it's like 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart, that's the area. Okay, so to have a bit of consolidation, like in here. So now going to pound dollar, and I was looking at selling it, and you see, first it had, like I was telling you, it had head and shoulders, and I was expected it to move a little bit to the same area here previously. It went a little bit higher, and then it's turned around. So, and now I will be looking at here. It started to have a consolidation, so I will be placing my orders sell from that level. That's it. It's pretty quite easy with pound dollar. That would be my area. So if there ain't going to be any jumps and just consolidate, I will be using that to place order sell. But again, don't forget, still with the news for dollar, economical news, and maybe it will have a bit of recovery, will go somewhere a little bit higher, but this moment, that's my area. So that's my area, that's my level. If it will continue the way down next, this is the next level. And just like I was saying, I'm still looking more into towards selling it. But like I'm saying, you see, if there could be like really bad news from Middle East for America, you know, some that military, something bad happened there, then pound can have a jump up against dollar. It can have that influence, even ignoring the Brexit news. Okay, so that's my view at this point for pound dollar. And pound yen, the same with this news. You see, yen is getting a bit stronger, and pound is getting weaker because of the obviously the news. And I have another level again here, and I will be looking at placing the sell from that level. Right, so that's it. I'm just not looking into buying it, and I use the two tops and a little bit of the bottom, trying to put it into the downtrend. And so here, I believe if it will break that level, it will have a nice move down to the next level, okay? And for at least for a while to be stopped here, and then maybe some consolidation, maybe a bit of correction, we will see. But that's the first area to look at. So that's my view on the market, guys. Like I'm saying, it's quite hard at this moment because this unexpected news from Middle East is just very quite upsetting, I would say also. So because I wish really we will have peace all over the world. I always, every year, I say Happy New Year and let it be peace, because I do really want it finally everyone to live with each other and to be friends without any arguments and wars, you know. Because people don't no matter who you are, what's your background, what's your race, what's your color, hair, skin, eyes, we all have the same rights, all the same rights. This is our planet, we live on it, and it belongs to us, to people. We should be nicer to each other and respect each other, guys. So I every year I just have this one wish all the time, to have peace in our world, really, finally have a peace in our world, when the people will finally see that we all equal, and we should be treated the same with respect to each other. So Happy New Year once again, guys, and happy trading, be careful, and I see you next week. Bye everyone.